Hey, Southeast, I hope you are doing well. Hey, I'm so grateful for Derek and his friendship and his willingness to come and preach. And he shared with us about Paul's second missionary journey. And it starts off going to Galatia, and then eventually it moves over to Greece. And so thank you, Derek, for that. Hey, but I want to spend some extra time on Acts chapter 15. This is the Jerusalem Council. This is right before the second missionary journey. So Paul and Barnabas, they come back from Galatia, the southern Turkey is what we would call it today. They come back and they report that the Gentiles are being saved. But here's the question, and as we're looking at the church drive, we're looking at the Spirit drive the church from Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and then to the ends of the earth. What do we do with people that aren't Jewish? That was the question that the church was asking. So here it is. We have the promise in the garden. We watch that promise grow into a family. We watch that family grow into a nation. And then we see that promise culminate in Christ. He is the fulfillment of that promise originally given to Adam and Eve when they sinned. And God said, hey, I'm going to take care of this. And it's through the offspring, through Christ, through that seed. And so the question that the church had, now that Jesus is inaugurating his kingdom, do people need to become Jewish in order to become a Christian? And so Paul and Barnabas get back and they say, this is what we're seeing. We're seeing people surrender their lives to Christ. And the Spirit then is empowering them, that we see the Spirit indwelling in them. We see the fruit of the Spirit in their lives. And so no, you don't have to become Jewish in order to become a Christian. The kingdom is so much bigger than the nation of Israel. The kingdom is for everybody. All nations, everybody are invited to participate. And so that's what Acts chapter 15 is it's this discussion that the church is having about new converts. Do they have to become Jewish before they become a Christian? And the Jerusalem Council is what they call it. And they said, no, we don't. So they come to this conclusion, and James stands up and he finalizes the decision, I guess. James stands up and he gives this argument, and he goes, no, this is prophesied in the Old Testament. We see what's happening here. Look at what he says, though, in Acts chapter 15, 19 through 21. This is the tail end of that discussion. He says, therefore, my judgment is that we should not trouble those Gentiles who turn to God, but we should write to them to abstain from the things polluted by idols, from sexual immorality, and from what has been strangled, and from blood. For from ancient generations Moses had in every city those who proclaim him, for he is read every Sabbath in the synagogues. So basically what he says, we should not make it difficult for those who want to turn their life to Christ. We should not make it difficult for them. But we also recognize that those people that are turning to Christ, surrendering their life to Christ, it's not just that they're on their own. No, when you surrender your life, you're part of a community. You're part of the church. You're part of his bride. You're part of the refuge that we see. So that's the thing. So he says, we should make it easy for them to turn to Christ, not compromising doctrine or anything like that, but just in our traditions and that type of stuff, we should make it easy for them. But we also recognize that there are some traditions that we hold on to, and so it should be this mutual beneficial type of thing. So no, don't make them follow the law. They don't have to become Jewish. They don't have to get circumcised. They don't have to do any of that. But they do need to recognize, like, hey, Moses has been taught in the synagogues, for 1,500 years, so it's like there's this culture that we're trying to mix together, that we're trying to unite together. There's not two churches. There's not a Gentile church and a Jewish church. No, there is one church. So we should not make it difficult. And so that's the question. And the reason I wanted to just bring this up again is that this is a kind of one of those cornerstone verses for me. It's one of those passages that really kind of one of those anchor passages that we hold on to, and that's the question: do I make it difficult for people to come to Christ, or do I make it easy for them? Again, not compromising doctrine, but do I become all things to all people so that I might win a few people to Christ, right? Like, I don't want people to have to convert to me. I want people to see Jesus before they see my preferences, right? Like this is what this passage is talking about. Are we willing to let go of our preferences in order that people might see Jesus before they see our preferences? So I want to encourage you to do that. Ask that question in your own life. Am I making it difficult for people to come to Christ, or are people able to ask me questions, that type of thing? Do we make it difficult for people to belong? This next week, then, we're going to look at the third missionary journey, and this is Paul going back. He's actually on his way to collect an offering for the church in Jerusalem because they were facing persecution. But what we see in this missionary journey is we see the spiritual warfare that is happening when we go out into the world and proclaim Christ. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to focus on is in this next week, is that the gospel comes with power. When you go to share the gospel, when you are living out the gospel in your life, there is going to be opposition to you. There is going to be not only people, but spiritual forces at work against you. And so I just want to remind you of this, Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 12. Finally, be strong in the Lord, and in the strength of his might, put on the whole armor of God, that you might be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. The battles that you are fighting are spiritual. They are spiritual. And so that's what we see in this third missionary journey, is that the gospel is more powerful than those evil forces. And so I hope you can make it with us on Sunday. Hey, a couple things happening this week. Our worship night is on the 1st. Hope you can come to that. It's going to be a great time where we can just gather together to just simply worship, to exalt the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, to glorify him. I hope you can make it. And then not this week, but the next week on the 9th, that is our food bank and clothing closet. Again, this is the big one that we do every summer. This is the one where we get not only food and clothing, but we have these other community resources to help people get connected to more than just food and clothes. So I hope that you can make that. We need as many volunteers as we can get. And again, if you know anybody that's in need, to direct them our way so that we can help them. We can proclaim the gospel in a tangible way. Hey, Southeast, I love you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and God bless.